is probably one of the biggest ironies of money and having wealth or being rich is that you don't have to look rich in order to be rich, which is hard for many people to understand because we have this common belief that being rich is a very visible thing of expensive, nice possessions. But true wealth is invisible. It's about living an average, modest life. The everyday rich person becomes rich because they see the importance of looking poor. And when I say looking poor, I'm not talking about wearing raggedy clothes and driving a car with a bunch of emissions coming out. But I'm just talking about living modestly with no visible indicators of their money. Think blue jeans and a t-shirt driving an old Honda. In order to build wealth and become more financially secure, it's important to see the importance of looking poor and change your view on what it means to be rich. And so in this video, I want to talk about 7 reasons on why looking poor is important.
Hello, and welcome back to Money Mentor. Today, we have an exciting topic to explore. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss our valuable content. Let's dive right in.
And the first reason is looking rich is the quickest way to going broke. Now, thinking that being rich is about making it visibly known is actually the quickest path to going broke. I mean, we see this all the time with professional athletes who all of a sudden start making millions of dollars. Let's say this athlete makes $20,000 a month, then gets a giant house, a collection of cars, and tons of stuff, increasing their expenses to $20,000 a month. And although they look and feel rich in the moment, when the money stops coming in, which is something that happens pretty quickly with athletes, they have these high expenses, but no income, no savings, and immediately go broke. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you spend all your money, then you won't have any money. If you're making $20,000 a month and spend $20,000 a month, you are still one surprise expense away from going broke. Looking rich is not sustainable in the long term, and so looking poor is important because it is sustainable in the long term. When you live modestly and instead build up your wealth, you're always prepared for life's surprises. When you look poor, you'll never go broke. Now, the second reason is looking rich burdens you with liabilities. The problem with looking rich is that you mainly end up buying something called liabilities, which are things you owe. And when you decide to look rich, these liabilities really burden you and prevent you from growing wealth. For example, if you want to look rich and get nice clothes with a credit card, a fancy car with an auto loan, and a big house with a high mortgage, you have all these liabilities to worry about. And so whenever you make money, a huge amount goes to paying off these liabilities. Or if some surprise expense comes up, like you lose your job, you might not be able to cover these liabilities and declare bankruptcy. Having too many liabilities makes it hard to get ahead in life, and so looking poor is important because you avoid having too many liabilities and you end up having more money to buy something called assets, which are things that provide you future benefit. When you decide to look poor and limit your liabilities, you have more money to build your assets, like your emergency fund, buying stocks, or other investments, which helps you grow your wealth. And so looking rich is a lifestyle burdened with liabilities, but looking poor is a lifestyle enriched with assets. Now, the third reason is that looking rich makes you live in survival mode. As I just said, looking rich makes you buy liabilities, making it harder to grow your wealth, whereas looking poor allows you to buy assets, making it easier to grow your wealth. And when you're trying to look rich and you're spending all your money on liabilities, you end up living in the survival mode of making money, getting nice things, paying for these nice things, running out of money, and making money again. Regardless of how much money you make, if you're living this lifestyle where you're trying to look rich and spending all this money on liabilities, you're gonna end up in this vicious circle of survival mode, always in the need to make money to pay off your liabilities. And so looking poor is important because it allows you to buy more assets to grow your wealth. And so instead of being trapped in this survival mode, You make money, have less expenses to pay for, and invest the difference in assets. And over time, your assets will grow to the point where you don't have to worry about running out of money before the next paycheck comes in because your assets are making you money. The problem with looking rich is that it forces you to see money as this thing that allows you to survive to pay off your things. But looking poor allows you to use money as a tool to grow your money and thrive. Now, the fourth reason is that looking rich makes people view you differently. Another huge con of looking rich is that when you portray to the world that you have money, people start to view and treat you differently. For example, your friends and family might feel entitled for you to help them. You could surround yourself with phony people, and people could try to take advantage of you. Looking poor is important because it's really best that people don't know how much money you have. When you look like an average person, you're viewed as equal. People are more authentic around you, and no one's trying to get something out of you. The truth about the world we live in is that it is a dog-eat-dog world out there, and if people think you have money because you're portraying to the world that you have money, you open up the possibility of many people trying to take advantage of you. Now, the fifth reason is getting rich is just a collection of many small decisions. If you watch my channel, you know this is my full-time job. I am a full-time YouTuber. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't easy. But when I look back at this experience of growing this channel and just trying to make it on my own in life, I can't point to one thing that has led to the success. But when I think about it, it's really tons of small decisions that I made every single day. Being consistent over a long period of time, continuing to push when things are down, studying what the audience wants, studying failures and successes, and learning new skills. The success of this channel comes from many small decisions over a long period of time. And that concept is really the equation to achieve success at anything in life, especially when it comes to building wealth, making many small decisions that ultimately add up to something much bigger over time. And looking poor is important because it's all about making small decisions every single day that add up to something much bigger. For example, a smaller house could save you money. A cheaper car could save you money. And focusing on living modestly in general can help you save money. And when you have that extra money, as I said before, you can use it to buy assets to build your wealth over time. Looking poor allows you to make small decisions each and every day to save money and build your wealth. Now, the sixth reason is true wealth doesn't need to prove itself. Many people who try to look rich and convince other people that they have money are usually just drowning in debt because their entire lives are just funded by debt. Car loans, high mortgages, and maxed out credit cards. When people look rich, they're just trying to prove to other people that they have money. But why? Because true wealth doesn't need to prove itself. When you have real wealth in life, you don't feel the need to prove it to other people because you have freedom, security, and options in your life. And those are empowering things that are so personal. I mean, when you have options, why does it matter if other people know? And so looking poor is important because the less you care about what other people think, the more empowering money is. The less you care what other people think, the more you can use money as a tool to live the life that you want. Now, the final reason that looking poor is important is financial peace is just better. I think to some extent, everybody wants to have nice things. I mean, whenever you drive past an absurdly large house, I think that everyone says to themselves, I wonder what it's like to live there. I think that people try to look rich and get a bunch of nice things because it's something deep in our human nature. We're attracted to shiny things, big things, and abundance. They're cool things, but you know what's much cooler? Financial peace. There's nothing better than not having to worry about money. There's nothing better than having wealth that gives you freedom, options, and flexibility in your life. Because having that type of wealth allows you to sleep easy every night knowing that whatever surprise tomorrow brings, you at least don't have to worry about money. And so looking poor is important because although fancy possessions are cool to have, Having financial peace is much cooler. Having financial peace is just much better. And if anybody were to disagree with me on that, I would just say that you have lost touch of what is truly important in this world. And so wear a faded t-shirt, drive a car with dents in it, and invest more of your money. Because the freedom that you get in exchange is worth far more than the freedom that's taken away from all these liabilities, all these material possessions that you get from looking rich.